Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Ashardalon's Stride.
That's right.
That is not nearly fast enough.
That's true. This thing goes at breakneck speeds. This is from First Bad and Treasury of Dragons. Great little book. One of my favorite they've released in years. Third level transmutation spell. Bonus time, cast time, bonus action. Range self, verbal thematic components, concentration up to a minute. So this is already really cheap to use. It's an artificer, ranger, sorcerer, wizard spell. Full casters. Okay, pretty good. The billowing flames of a dragon blast from your feet, granting you explosive speed. For the duration, your speed increases by 20, and moving doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Cool. When you move within 5 feet of a creature or object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes a d6 fire damage from your trail of heat. A creature or object can take this damage only once per turn. When you cast the spell using a 4th level or higher slot, your speed increases by 5 for every level above 3rd. It does an additional d6 damage as well for every spell level above 3rd. This is a really cool little spell. I don't know entirely how to rank it or rate it or talk about it, but it's a fairly unique effect in this game as far as benefiting hitting as many things on the map as you can over and over again. And I think that's pretty cool. Its cost is very high, granted. 3rd level it's not giving you it's not giving you a lot for its slot. It's mainly giving you move speed and a little d6 damage around. That's not a ton. At the same time, I could see there being some characters that would care about that enough to consider this.
All right, well, I mean, not only is it giving you that, but using this, after you initially cast it, only your movement speed counts towards damaging people, right? I mean, you could move, still make an attack, still take a bonus action. So there's
Yes.
something for that. And 3rd level, of course, we're going to compare it to Fireball. Yeah, it's you're going to have a challenge getting as much damage out of it as a Fireball. But
That's, I think, ultimately its biggest downfall, where if you were trying to figure out how do I meander and navigate so I can get a d6 damage on all 6 of these creatures, you could hit 5 of them with a 8d6 damage fireball, and that happens all at once for the same spell slot level with none of the little hiccups or caveats. So you definitely really need to want to be moving fast and doing other things against those targets. Ultimately, I don't see it coming together being that reasonable. I think most of the time you're going to cast this, you're going to run around, you're going to feel cool running around, and you're going to recognize, wait a second, I've done 46 damage total these 3 rounds with this spell. Whoops.
yeah, I've done 46 damage total with the spell, but I've also been, firing I don't know, fire bolts as well.
Yeah.
Or something else.
I don't want to be using firebolts with this.
I'm just thinking like a zero cost thing, like a cantrip.
Sure.
But yeah,
Attack
you could
rolls.
be attack rolls or even cheaper spell slots.
Sure. I mean, as long as it's not the same round, right? But yeah.
What do you mean?
So if you cast a spell of 1st level or higher that uses your bonus action, you cannot cast a spell of 1st level or higher that also takes your action within the same round. It's a
Oh,
very
well,
important
after the
spellcasting
first
rule.
round.
Yes. So on
Yeah.
2nd or 3rd, 4th round after that, you're good to go.
Yeah.
What character wants this?
All of them. No,
Oh,
probably not.
no, I think very few actually.
I think.
I think maybe you put the so my first initial problem whenever we're looking at this for a wizard, specifically a blade slinger, this competes with haste. Haste is a 3rd level spell that doubles your speed and gives you an extra attack. That's really good. Doubling your speed, giving you an extra attack, does a lot of other things, give you bonus AC. Now, granted, there's a lot of risk to haste. If you ever get it knocked off of you, you skip a turn, and that's debilitating. That ends the encounter for you a lot of the time. Haste also can get cast on other creatures, though. That's really big game.
Yeah.
This eating your concentration is pretty tall order for the full casters, and on characters like Rangers and Artificers that get this super late, I can see this wanting to fit into the Ranger thematic of playing the skirmisher character, getting rewarded for hitting a bunch of different things, having something like a whirlwind attack, or having a payoff for hitting 2 or 3 different things in a round. This is a payoff for that. It's a payoff for running around and not provoking opportunity attacks. It's painful that it doesn't do anything beyond the not provoking opportunity attacks is a flat effect that you get, and there are a lot of things like mobile in the game that give you that effect, which makes, if you're playing a ranger that already wants to be doing that, this is a little bit overkill sometimes. the same time, this can be the only option you take for that. If you're saying, I want to do the skirmisher, I don't want to take mobile, this is a way to get that, I guess. The problem I also then have is those characters, if you're running around making attacks a bunch against a bunch of people, your speed is around 55. You're dashing through, because you get the extra 5 feet from the new ranger features. You're dashing through a bunch of people. You're making a bunch of melee attacks. And then you need to be in a spot where you're not getting attacked so this doesn't fall off. And I find the circumstances where that'll actually happen, I don't know, it would seem to me that that's a very small window of times where that will actually pay off. And the reward is a bonus d6 damage along the way to a couple of targets. They can't, they don't get a save or anything at least, so it's guaranteed d6 damage. If you're upcasting this a lot better, if you're spending a 5th level spell, it's going to get 3d6 damage per target, now I'm a lot more interested. I think at 3rd level though, and if you're a 17th level ranger getting 3rd level or 5th level spell slots, I don't really want to be there anyway, right? So it just feels like a little clunky. I like all the words, but I don't see it coming
it's
together
clunky.
ever.
I think it's probably difficult to use effectively, but a lot of fun to try.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of spell where, much like I did with Earth Tremor, I'm confident this spell is going to be bad in practice, but I will absolutely build characters that try to make use of it and have fun doing so. I like playing characters that aren't necessarily, they're not aimed at doing the most powerful thing every single turn in combat, but they still want to contribute to it. This seems like it goes on those kinds of character sheets. It could be cool.
Couple things. Haste, gives you extra speed, extra attack. This kind of
extra AC.
All right, extra AC. This doesn't give you extra AC. In fact, this makes you a target that people want to punch.
This puts you behind the enemy back line, or front line, which is not probably where you want to be.
No. So, but with the flames thing, it does kind of give you an extra attack because you can still make an attack.
I think if you're hitting 3 creatures, it's probably equivalent to 1 attack roll.
Well,
I don't think
I'm talking about an actual attack roll. So
sure.
burn, stab.
Yeah.
That's that's something you can do as long as you can keep your concentration. Also, this or mobile, why not both? Then you can flame more creatures.
10 feet more of creatures? I don't see that being that good, especially since the bulk of mobile is you don't take opportunity. Well, you take things at disadvantage on opportunity attacks if you've hit them, which is the whole skirmisher thing. I can see maybe you going like, I want to be the fastest. Again, we recently talked about the fastest kobold ever live. This could be in the fastest kobold ever live kind of camp of, this is a fun little silly build that I'm doing just because I want to go fast. I don't want to do it effectively.
Not because I want to go fast, because I'm building around this spell.
Sure. I will also say anything that says you do free damage every round is probably some amount of powerful. There's probably some amount of stacking of abilities and whatnot that'll make this better. There's getting a free 3d6 damage every round in combat and not having to do anything but move to get it is pretty cool. I could see if you can get 96 damage out of this, it's still probably worse than Fireball, but at the same time, you're doing that while also attacking, so you're not foregoing a full action to do it. Maybe in a world where you can maintain concentration on this for 3 rounds and hit 3 creatures with it and are making attack rolls on top of the thing you're already doing with this, in the perfect setup, okay, it was fine.
I think there are builds, like I haven't made one, but I would very much like to see a build around this.
Specifically Ashardalon Stride.
See how much juice you can squeeze out of it, because I think they're out there.
I think so too. It's probably something with Bladesinger. Most of the time it relies on, that's the martial attacking wizard option, right, is Bladesinger. So that's probably around where I'd see it, but I think it's cool. I like this spell a lot. I don't think it's that good. I think 95% of characters can't ever touch this and get anything out of it. I do think casting to higher levels makes it a little bit more interesting. Like, I would love to see the Bladesinger, 9th level Bladesinger using this to make 2 attacks around and getting 3d6 extra damage on everyone. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. 3rd level for a d6 damage. Ooh.
Oh man, it's too bad clerics don't get this.
Yeah, clerics would be sweet with this.
Yeah, because you could just upcast it to one of those like spell levels where all those spells are crap.
Mm-hmm. Sure, that too. I think there's I think you can probably have a lot of fun with this. I don't want to tell anyone
Yeah.
not to take this spell, especially if it speaks to you as like this sounds awesome. Because I agree, it looks awesome. You're running around with flames on your heels, and the flames are so hot that you flash up in people's faces and burn them, right?
Yeah, I think it looks kind of silly. Like,
I love that kind of silly. That's the kind of silly I
stupid
love in my D&D.
cartoon stuff.
Yes, absolutely. I want like Wile E. Coyote levels of physics in my Dungeons and Dragons world. I think that's where it is at its silliest, at its best, where you have these high moments of real big tension, where you're playing with horrific, evil, undead monsters that are like oozing horrible things from their faces, and then you also have the moment where
They run around like Benny Hill.
Yes, exactly. Where your heels literally catch on fire, and you do the little like the leg spinny thing from the Looney Tunes, and you zip around, and everything catches on fire. I think those things coming colliding together in this D&D is what makes it special, and I definitely think this fits in that category of silly. That's why I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, I guess without going into specific builds, which neither of us are prepared for,
No,
we've probably milked all we're gonna get out of this one.
Yeah.
You got a rating?
I think this is probably. I'll say because there's likely a build out there that can really juice this to some pretty good effect. This is probably a 3. I don't think it's going to be better than almost any of the like tried and true. We know this exists as a way to navigate powerfully. I don't think this is replacing haste anytime soon. I don't think this was going to be a superior option to a lot of the more powerful known quantity summon stuff or whatever. But I do think it's going to be a fun, different way to play those characters. And I think if it's ever a side grade, it's great. It's probably a downgrade, but it's not that far of a downgrade that I'm usually going to be pretty happy taking this on. Specifically, like the 2% of the Marshall Gish characters where you're a caster and you like attacking things and you don't mind upcasting this and your concentration isn't being challenged that badly, so you can still run around and hit things and maybe keep this up for 3 rounds. That seems pretty fun.
Yeah, this is gonna be my irresponsible rating for the day. I'm not giving it a 5, but I will give it a 4. It's a lot. I think a lot of fun can be had, and I'm hoping some commenters will justify this with some of their cool builds that use this.
I do want to absolutely say, if you're not making attack rolls and you don't have like if you don't have ways to protect your AC and make attack rolls, this has no business being on your character sheet and is a 1. You cannot use it effectively. Take anything that teleports you; it'll do this better.
Well,
Longstrider will do
like
this
spells.
better. Sure, you have better options than this across the board. But if you're making attack rolls, if you're doing the skirmisher thing, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, that's exactly what I had in mind. Wouldn't have it any other way. All right, that was Ashardalon Stride. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.